Why won't you?
Listen.
Why won't you?
I mean,
Why?
I don't believe in jihadism, which is why I'm furious that the United States just had a freaking Al Qaeda terrorist in the White House.
It's not just jihadism.
Let's focus for a second.
No, you won't answer this question.
Bill Maher asked Ana Kasparian a direct question, expecting an honest answer. But what happens next is pure chaos. Just watch.
If you had to live in the Middle East, so tomorrow, Anna, you got to go live in the Middle East, where would you live? You can pick one city, any city. You can, as far away as, say, Pakistan. You could live in Karachi. You could live in Cairo. You could live in Amman, Jordan. You seem to love Lebanon. I mean, Beirut's nice when the bombing's not happening and the assassinations have stopped. Or you could live in Syria. I hear that's wonderful in the summer.
Well, we now have Al Qaeda terrorist leading Syria.
Or the Houthis, I'm sure, would make room for you.
Yeah.
Tel Aviv, or the West Bank, Ramallah, I think is wonderful for like a little, in the fall, it gets lovely. Where would you live? What city would you live in?
Well,
where do you think you'd be comfortable in that dress?
I'm sure it would not be comfortable in this dress in any of the various Middle Eastern countries that have been destabilized by
You're not really blaming it on Whitey.
Listen.
Are you? You're blaming Islam on Whitey?
I'm not blaming Islam on Whitey.
But what you're saying is we destabilized. That's why you can't wear that dress?
Did we not destabilize?
Wait a second.
We were funding terrorist organizations in Syria during the Syrian civil war, starting under the Obama administration.
That's why
Did that not destabilize Syria?
No, what's destabilized?
There's a literal Al Qaeda terrorist.
We're talking about your dress.
Oh,
why?
It looks good. I know it looks good.
You're saying you can't wear that dress in Syria because of Whitey destabilizing?
I didn't say that.
Okay, that's what it said. Okay, great.
But the United States did destabilize various Middle Eastern countries. Are you going to deny that?
I asked about the dress, and you went right to destabilize. So is that why you couldn't wear that dress? Why couldn't you wear that dress? Why could you walk down?
You want me to talk about jihadism and Islam, but like...
Why won't you?
Listen...
Why won't you?
I mean,
Why?
I don't believe in jihadism, which is why I'm furious that the United States just had a freaking Al Qaeda terrorist in the White House.
It's not just jihadism that is preventing you from wearing that dress. Are you saying every Muslim is a jihad? I don't think they are.
Bill.
Okay, why can't you wear that dress?
Let's focus for a second.
No, you won't answer this question.
I'm not going to defend that religion, like that extremist religion at all.
Why can't you just say?
That's not what this discussion is about. This discussion is about
it's very much what it's about.
Ordinary, innocent human beings that I don't want to be slaughtered, regardless of what their religion is.
No one does.
Okay.
But the fact that you can't answer that question, and you know that
I don't know what the question is. What's the question?
Bill's question was pretty simple. He did not ask about U.S. foreign policy, destabilization, or anything else for that matter. He literally asked where she would feel comfortable wearing that dress in the Middle East. That's it. It was a pretty straightforward, concrete question that anyone could answer without hesitation. But instead of giving a real answer, Anna, of course, tried her best to dodge it. And apparently, this exchange infuriated her TYT co-host, Cenk.
Last week, sitting here was Ana Kasparian, and you guys had a really...
that got around.
Yeah, and her co-host, Cenk, he's also on the Young Turks, tweeted, I think Bill Maher is the biggest racist in American media. I'm happy to challenge him to a debate on the issue of his favorite country in the world, his beloved Israel. How do you respond to that? I'm assuming you didn't even see this.
Why doesn't he answer the question that she won't answer? Or that she didn't until finally she had to give in and say, yes, I would live in Tel Aviv.
Would you challenge, would you
Yes,
debate
well,
him?
I'd love to hear his answer. Because there is no answer. Anybody who thinks they're a social justice activist, which these people do, and your number one issue isn't gender apartheid in the Muslim world, you're a joke. You're a joke. It's so obvious where the biggest amount of oppression is. You people who hate oppression so much. I saw the New York Post reprinted like the whole thing, and they showed, of course they have pictures. I don't have pictures here, but they show pictures of women in the full covered, the burqa of head to. I saw the front page of the New York Times yesterday was something about Syria. maybe it was their 1-year anniversary or something. And this is Syria, which I, kind of think, well, it's not Afghanistan, it's not Saudi Arabia. Well, it's Syria. It was the leader of the Muslim world at some point, and but there's the women, and they were in the full, like I'm not even the eye slit, just
no, they can't see
the full black fumigation tent. If you're okay with keeping women in beekeeper suits, including in 100-degree weather, and this is just something that just, okay, well, whatever. And I'm the racist. First of all, Islam is not a race, morons. It's an idea. It's an ideology. People of all races follow it. It's just more fundamentalist than other religions in this century. That would not have been the case in the 14th century. But we don't live then. We live now. And the fact that you won't call this out, like the fact that these Muslims in America, the way you live here, you couldn't live that way in most of these countries where your ancestors are from. And certainly your wife couldn't. The fact that this isn't your biggest issue as people who hate oppression, you're a joke. So, you want to debate? Sure. I debated her. I'm bored. As I said at the end of that, I said, I'm bored.
Yeah.
At some point, we've been around this mulberry bush, and I'm kind of bored, and you have your story, and you're sticking to it.
You keep doing that.
What's my question? What's your
because
question?
Because you don't really want to hear it.
No, go ahead. I will give you space to speak. Go ahead.
Then you will let me.
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, if you could live anywhere,
right,
from North Africa all the way to, we left out Uzbekistan, you could live there, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Oh,
none of the above.
And,
none of them.
Or Tel Aviv.
None of them. Literally none of them.
But if you had to choose one, you would. So to you, Karachi, Pakistan, and Tel Aviv, same thing.
I would figure something out, but
that's
I've
powerful,
definitely
not as smart as I know you are. That's come on. You're going to get killed. You're going to get killed for that for good reason.
No, I don't.
Yes, you are, and for good reason.
Okay, Bill, I'm Armenian. I have literal family members who currently live in Iran. I have no love for the Iranian regime. Let me be clear about that.
I left out Tehran. Would you like to live there?
Hold on. But let me just say something.
Tel Aviv, Tehran.
There is so much disinformation. Armenian Christians who are part of the Armenian diaspora as a result of the 1915 genocide against Armenians.
I know it.
They're living in Iran right now. They're going to church. They're being left alone by the Ayatollah, as awful as the Ayatollah is. So look, I'm not saying I would want to live in Iran. I don't want to live anywhere in the Middle East. I want to live here in the United States of America, the greatest freaking country in the world.
You're like a politician. You're avoiding the question.
No, I'm being as super honest as I can be.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
100% I'm being honest with you.
No. Because the question is, if you had to pick a city, and you're not answering that question, you're doing what politicians are doing and saying, I don't want to live in any of them. I want to live in America. That's not the question. The question is, if you had to pick, would you rather live in Tel Aviv? Because I promise you, you wouldn't last a week in the other places, and you could easily live in Tel Aviv. So if you don't think that speaks of a difference between cultures and civilizations, then okay, we'll leave it there. But I promise you it does. And if you had to actually do that, I think you would agree with me.
I think given my very harsh and vociferous criticisms of the Israeli government, I probably wouldn't feel so safe living in Tel Aviv right now under this government. Under this government.
First of all, they have free speech there, so it would not be an issue. But that is a side issue. We're not really talking about. We'll just say just a person, not you with your vociferous talking out, just a regular, a woman of your age.
I'm sure a woman of my age who grew up in the Western world would probably feel the most comfortable in Tel Aviv. I will concede that.
Wow.
Okay. But we're having a discussion about which culture we like, when in reality, I'm having a discussion about the value of human life. And wanting innocent people to live, whether they're Israelis or whether they're Muslims in some other Muslim country in the Middle East.
You know what? When I'm bored, I know the audience is bored.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut it there because we've been around that mulberry bush before.
Right.
So I don't want to go around it again.
How exhausting. Anna wasted all that time and energy ducking, dodging, and deflecting, trying to spin Bill's question into some narrative about the United States destabilizing the region. I don't get it. Why was it so hard for her to just admit the obvious reality? Would it have really been that difficult for her to just say that Israel would be the obvious choice, considering how liberal Tel Aviv is? But I guess I have to give her a little credit. She tried her best to fight it as long as she possibly could. She tried every play in the book, lying, denying, deflecting, and refusing to part ways with the narrative she's been pushing, just to circle back around, completely defeated. And you could see the defeat in her eyes. It was like she was literally forced to admit the obvious, that Israel is the only place in that region where she could live and dress freely. But it was like the minute she finally admitted that, you could see her entire narrative crumble right before her eyes. It's just so crazy to me how insulated the left has become. It's like anytime they're challenged, even the slightest, their brains seem to just completely shut down. No matter how simple, factual, or practical the questions are, that even a simple question of where would you feel comfortable wearing that dress could instantly trigger all levels of deflection, spinning, and shouting. Instead of just giving an honest answer, it's like they've built a system where protecting the narrative is more important than facing reality. And anything that threatens that narrative either gets completely ignored or ferociously attacked. It's as if logic and common sense just cease to exist for them. At least that's how I see it. But please, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.